Now to the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. A former employee of the music mogul was granted immunity today. Without it, George Kaplan signaled his intention to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Now that he's got immunity, Kaplan is expected soon to take the witness stand. Earlier today, prosecutors called an expert witness, psychologist Dr. Dawn Hughes. She testified about why it's common for victims to stay in abusive relationships. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. His lawyers argue that any acts of assault do show domestic violence, but not coercion or evidence of trafficking. Those are the big charges. Legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer joins me now outside of court. So, Brian, you've been in this court. How significant is this immunity deal, first of all?
Terry, it's a big deal because just think about the confines of how that immunity deal works. We heard that Kaplan would have pled the Fifth if he was to take the stand, meaning that his statements would have incriminated him. Don't forget, this is a RICO conspiracy case, so two or more people conspiring to commit criminal acts. And so the idea that I'm seeing here is that Kaplan would have testified to something that would have incriminated him and Sean Combs. Now he doesn't have to worry about incriminating himself, and he can give a full breath testimony as to what criminal actions he participated in, and more likely than not, how he did so at the behest of Sean Combs. And the directions of this case is going to turn, I think, in a way that shows this criminal enterprise is bigger than what we initially thought.
Yeah, and psychologist Dawn Hughes on the witness stand today, Brian, testifying about victims in abusive relationship. She's not interviewed anyone in the case directly. What do jurors do with testimony like this?
So Dawn Hughes is someone famous for this testimony. She's testified in the Keith Raniere case, the R. Kelly case, the Harvey Weinstein case. And what she does in her testimony is what we call a blind expert, because to your point, she hasn't interviewed anyone in this case, whether it be alleged victim or alleged perpetrator. She hasn't heard any of the testimony in the case or researched any of the documents associated with this case. She's simply creating a framework of why individuals stay in violent relationships, different coping mechanisms, what else does she have? The patterns of disclosure, as well as how memory is affected in traumatic experiences. And it's with that framework that the jury is supposed to then evaluate the testimony of Cassie and other alleged victims. But to your point, and on cross-examination as well, this is just a framework. She hasn't interviewed anyone, so she doesn't know if anyone's exaggerating or lying about their symptoms.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer, thanks for being there at the courthouse for us. See you later. Well, make sure to catch our daily show on this high-profile trial. It's called Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy. It airs nightly at 5:30 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live. You won't want to miss it. And be sure to check out our podcast, Bad Rap, the case against Diddy, for daily updates.